You know that moment? We all have it. You're standing in front of the mirror, and the person looking back just isn't the one you remember. It feels like that rope you were climbing, hand over hand, trying to become a better version of yourself. It just slipped. Life got in the way. And now, what used to feel like a natural climb, well, it looks like a sheer cliff. So today, we're going to break down the physics of personal momentum, how we lose it to this quiet, creeping sense of why bother, and, more importantly, how we can reclaim it. Let's dig into why that fire fades and how you can command those embers back into a forge.
And that right there, it just nails this fragile truth about any kind of progress. Momentum is a living thing, but you have to feed it with your attention. The second that little shadow of inaction starts to creep in, you start asking yourself those corrosive questions, right? What's the point anymore? Do I even have what it takes? It's a really dangerous spiral, and if we want to break free, we've got to understand it first.
So how does the fire actually die out? Look, it's never this big, dramatic gust of wind that blows it out. It's a slow, quiet retreat. It's this psychological drift that happens when the comfort of just staying put starts to look a lot more appealing than the promise of what's out there across the sea. Let's really diagnose this thing.
Man, that question gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? The writer Jim Rohn said something brilliant about this. He said, it's not that change is so hard, it's that not changing is just deceptively easy. It's like our own biology is working against us, creating this powerful tug-of-war inside.
And what you're seeing here, this is the fundamental battle going on inside every single one of us. This isn't just about being motivated. This is evolutionary. Your mind, that ancient part of you designed for survival, it doesn't care about your potential. It fights for your preservation. It wants comfort. It wants safety. It wants to stay in familiar territory. But your soul, that deeper part of you, it wants growth. It's hungry for potential. It's drawn to the beautiful, terrifying unknown. See, excellence, it's like this rebellion you have to lead against your own survival instincts.
So this is how it happens. The anatomy of the fade. It's a slow, subtle slide into a complete standstill. It all starts with some small disruption. Life just happens. Then comes the justification. You tell yourself that story. I deserve a break. I'll get back to it. But then something shifts, and it's so subtle you might miss it. That conscious choice to just recover becomes an unconscious decision to retreat. You're not healing anymore, you're hiding. And you can feel it deep down, that ache of a promise you made to yourself that's now broken.
And this, right here, is the absolute key to getting started again. It is not about some huge heroic leap. Think about it. If you tell yourself you have to rebuild the entire castle right now, today, you're just going to get crushed by the weight of it all before you even start. Momentum isn't born from some monumental effort. No, it's born from one single, manageable action. All it's asking you to do right now is just pick up the first stone.
Okay, so what is that first stone? Well, for so many of us, it's about being authentic. It's deciding, right now, to stop carrying the weight of what everyone else thinks. The first and most powerful step you can take to rebuild your own castle is to use stones that are actually yours. It's about reclaiming your unfiltered self, because that is the only place true power ever comes from.
Seriously? This right here, it's one of the most freeing things you can ever really let sink in. There's this great story about a guy, we'll call him John. And John, well, he's loud, he's controversial, he can be abrasive. And yeah, a lot of people they don't like him.
But here's the thing, despite all the friction he causes, John is world-class at what he does. Maybe the best. And the reason is simple. Love him or hate him, he is 1000% John. He doesn't sand off his own edges to make himself more palatable for other people. And because he is so unapologetically himself, he becomes a magnet. He pushes away the people who aren't a good fit, and he powerfully attracts the ones who are. And that's not just about freedom, by the way. It's a strategy. It's a strategy for being excellent.
So this is the choice we all have to make sooner or later. Ask yourself, what parts of you have you put on a shelf? What passions, what real opinions, what stories do you keep locked away because you're afraid of what people will think? The trade-off, being 50% of who you are for a big crowd instead of 100% for your true tribe, that's where potential goes to die. And look, once you commit to being your authentic self, it's going to lead you to one place, the arena. This means you have to start seeing life not as something to be safely navigated, but as the actual ground where victory and defeat and meaning are all forged together in conflict.
This idea comes from Teddy Roosevelt, and it's just timeless. The arena is where the real business of living happens. It's the place where you're willing to get dirty, to get knocked down, to fail, all for the chance at a real victory. And the stands? Oh, they're packed with critics. They're safe, they're comfortable, they're clean, and they will never know the triumph of daring greatly. This really is the code you have to live by if you're gonna step into that arena. If you try to avoid being hated at all costs, you also avoid being passionately loved. You end up in this dead center, this gray area of just being fine. You become invisible. Living in that safe little harbor where you're just tolerated, that's just a quiet way of giving up on yourself.
And this is the biggest danger of staying out of the arena. You start playing by, let's call it, life's algorithm. The safe, predictable path that rewards you for just fitting in. You could spend your whole life climbing that ladder, getting a pat on the back for every single rung. But then you get to the top and it hits you, that sickening feeling. Your ladder has been leaning against the wrong building this whole time.
Okay, so we've got to be authentic. We've got to enter the arena. But where does the strength for all that come from? Well, this brings us to the final, core idea that ties everything together. The engine, the power source for this whole thing, it's only in one place. It's inside you. Let's talk about Viktor Frankl. I mean, here's a man who survived Auschwitz, and he understood this on a level most of us can't even imagine. What he's saying is that comparing your pain to someone else's is completely pointless. To the person feeling it, suffering is total. It fills up your entire consciousness. The only thing that matters, the only thing you control, is how you choose to respond to it. And that brings us to the most critical choice of all. When you're facing hardship, do you point the finger outward and blame someone or something else? Or do you turn the focus inward and take ownership? Look, blame, it's easy, it's seductive, but it makes you a victim, always waiting for someone else to fix things. Ownership is tough, but it's where your power is. It builds strength. It's you saying, okay, life gave me these cards, but I'm the one playing the hand. Which leads us to a really stark but incredibly liberating truth. Now, don't hear this as negative. This is a declaration of your own power. No one is coming, not to fix the problems you created, and not even the ones that weren't your fault. The cavalry is not on the way, because you are the cavalry. The car you're driving through life, it's not going anywhere without you, the engine, turning on. You are, and you have always been, the answer. So in the end, you have to realize, the storms of life, they don't show up to show you how weak you are. They show up to remind you of a strength that's been lying dormant inside you, just waiting. The best parts of who you are, they aren't built when things are easy. They're forged in fire. They're just waiting for you to give them permission to come out. So really, there's only one question left, the one you need to ask yourself right now. What will you prove to yourself today? You know, it's funny. When our backs are against the wall, that's when we're forced to become something more. When the clock is ticking down, we suddenly have to find answers that were hiding in plain sight all along. It's always in the darkness that we find the light. And it's only when we're truly lost that we finally find ourselves. And that's the great paradox of life, isn't it? It's the central theme of what we're talking about today. That from our pain comes our purpose, our evolution, and yeah, even our greatness. Okay, so let's just dive right into the heart of it. With all the chaos and all the obstacles out there in the world, have you ever just stopped and asked yourself, why does the biggest battle always seem to be me versus me? Why, when you strip everything else away, are you your own greatest opponent? It's a fundamental question and one we absolutely have to face if we're serious about making any real progress in life.
And here's the answer. It's actually pretty simple. The world around you, sure, it builds the landscape. It can throw up mountains in your path. It can dig these massive valleys you have to cross. But you know what? All of those external things, all that complexity, it can't actually tell you no. It can't force you to quit. That power belongs to you and you alone. You are the sole decider on where you stop. You decide how much you're willing to go through. So when it comes to your own growth or your own limitations, you're the one in the driver's seat, period.
So this brings us to our first really big idea, the argument that our truest enemy, the most significant roadblock we will ever face is the one inside our own head. The perspective here is that it's not the world holding us back. No, the real battleground, the place where pretty much all of our problems really live, it's all mental.
Now, what's so powerful about this is that it gives a name to that internal enemy, cognitive dissonance. It's that awful feeling you get when you know you want to be a healthier person, but you find yourself reaching for the junk food anyway. That's the gap. That's the conflict between the person we are right now and the person we know deep down we are capable of becoming. And that is the real ocean we have to cross. It's not just about taking the steps, it's about convincing ourselves that we're worthy of the journey to begin with.
So, okay, if the main battle is internal, what are the signals? How do we know it's happening? Well, this is where that paradox of pain really starts to come into focus. We have to completely reevaluate things like fear and discomfort. This next section argues that they aren't stop signs at all. They're actually invitations.
Think about it like this. Our minds come with a sort of stock setting, a default program, and its number one job is just to preserve what we have right now. It wants to maintain the status quo, avoid any and all risk, and keep us safe inside this little box we've built for ourselves. But to build anything meaningful, anything significant, that stock setting just isn't going to cut it. We have to make a conscious choice to upgrade. We have to choose to expand, to actively seek out growth, and to understand that this means embracing the very discomfort our default setting is screaming at us to run away from.
And this quote just brilliantly illustrates that new relationship we need to have with hardship. That fear you feel in your gut, that becomes a sign, an indicator that something new, something more is right around the corner. The pain is literally an invitation. The sheer terror we sometimes feel, well, that's just an upgrade disguised as a monster. It's not the enemy to run from, it's the adversary you should befriend, because it is telling you, it's signaling that you are on the very edge of becoming a better version of yourself.
All right, so if we actually accept that pain is an invitation, the next logical question is, how in the world do we walk through that door? Well, this requires a massive shift in our mental framework. We have to move away from subjective effort and towards objective action. It's all about doing what is required.
This slide makes a really important distinction. Doing your best sounds great, right? But it's totally emotional. It's subjective. It's a story you tell yourself, a narrative that, frankly, opens the door to excuses and limitations. I mean, what even is your best? It changes every single day. But doing what's required? That's different. That's objective. It's uncompromising. It's a decision you make to accept nothing less than the goal. When you don't leave yourself a plan B, you are required to make plan A work. And so you do.
And this quote from Admiral William McRaven just reframes the whole idea so beautifully. See, in this context, your best isn't some personal metric of how you're feeling that day. It's about a willingness to do what must be done, especially when life throws its worst at you. It's about taking the spotlight off of you, off your feelings, off your perceived limits, and pointing it directly at the road ahead, at the task at hand. Suddenly, the journey isn't about what you can or can't do anymore, it's about what is required.
And those dark moments, those periods of turbulence, they aren't a bug in the system. They are the primary environment for our transformation. We don't grow in spite of the storms. We grow because of them. Let's call this process growth in the storm.
The storm, for all its chaos, is an incredible teacher. First, it brings clarity. Its rain just washes away all the excess junk in our lives, leaving only what's truly meaningful. Second, by pushing forward when you're scared or lost or down, you prove to yourself that you can endure. You come out of it stronger. Third, the storm forces you to let go of things, to figure out what really matters and get rid of what doesn't. That gives you perspective. And finally, through that whole process, gaining clarity, strength, and perspective, you grow. You become the person you were always meant to be.
So here's the crucial takeaway. These lessons, the strength, the wisdom, the clarity, you don't learn them when the skies are blue. No way. Sunny days are for enjoying the strength that you've already built. But the actual building, that doesn't happen on sunny days. No, that's what storms are for. They're designed to break us down so we can build ourselves back up, stronger than we ever were before.
And this all leads us to the final, and I think the most empowering realization of all. If the battle is internal, if pain is an invitation, and if storms are what make us grow, then the conclusion is pretty obvious, isn't it? You are the architect of your own reality.
You know, we all have this built-in negativity bias. We obsessed over the one time something went wrong, and we totally forget the 99 times it went right. But if the walls of your life could talk, man, they'd show you the whole picture. They would remind you of one simple, undeniable statistic about your own history. Just look at this. I want you to really let this sink in. Your success rate for getting through hard times is 100%. You stared down the biggest curveballs life could possibly throw at you. You took on struggles that rocked you to your very core. And the proof is right here, right now. You're listening to this. You have survived every single one of them, and that makes you, by definition, undefeated in your ability to move through adversity.
And through that undefeated journey, you have earned some profound truths. You've learned that yesterday is not a life sentence, it's a stepping stone. You've learned that sometimes progress feels like pain, but it is the furthest thing from being stuck. You know you can always reinvent yourself. You can always step into a new pair of shoes. You understand that the past, the wake of the boat, does not drive the boat forward. And most important of all, you have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that right now, in this very moment, you have everything you need to take that next step. You have to. How else could you have gotten here? So we end where we have to, with you. You're the architect. You've crossed oceans. You have weathered every single storm. You have within you the fire of a million suns, just waiting for you to give the signal. The question is no longer about what you can endure. You've already answered that one 1,000 times over. The only question that remains, the only one that truly matters now, is the one right there on your screen. So, what will you build?
You need to get one thing straight. Right now, the world doesn't owe you a single thing. Not comfort, not success, and definitely not happiness. It's completely, utterly indifferent to you. But you know what? That's not a tragedy. It's the biggest opportunity you'll ever get. Because the one person who owes you everything is you. You owe yourself the effort. You owe yourself the struggle. You owe it to yourself to refuse to settle for a life that is anything less than what you're capable of living. So, where do we even begin to pay that debt?
This question from Stephen Colbert gets right to the difficult, beautiful heart of what we're talking about today. At first glance, it sounds kind of harsh, doesn't it? How can a punishment, a loss, a moment of pure agony possibly be a gift? But it forces us to look at suffering in a whole new light. Not as some obstacle to run away from, but as a mechanism we need to understand.
Let's just be brutally honest here. There is no version of a meaningful life that doesn't include suffering. It's not a bug in the system. It's not a sign you've made a wrong turn. It is the path. It's the non-negotiable price of admission for a life that has any depth, any growth, any real strength.
And here, Colbert just connects the dots perfectly. The ultimate gift is just being here, existing. And suffering? Well, that's a mandatory feature of the gift, not some optional extra you can decline. You can't be grateful for the warmth of the sun and then curse the rain that makes everything grow. You have to take the whole package. So the real question becomes, once we accept this unchangeable truth, what do we do about it? How do we operate inside of it?
All right, we're going to break down a 5-part framework for building a truly resilient life. First up, we'll learn to love our fate. Then, we'll get into the art of duality. From there, we'll adopt an architect's mindset, light a fire under our progress with action over perfection, and finally, really unleash our potential with the courage to be bold.
So let's start with the absolute bedrock. Before you can build anything that lasts, you have to fully accept the ground you're standing on, no matter how shaky or messed up it seems. And I'm not talking about just tolerating it. I'm talking about a radical commitment to loving your fate.
Amor fati. It's a core idea from the Stoics, and it literally means a love of one's fate. Now, this doesn't mean you have to be happy about a tragedy. No, it means you have to understand that every single thing that happens, especially the stuff you would never, ever have chosen, is an absolutely essential thread in the tapestry of your life. It all belongs.
Now, this is what's so powerful. This takes some ancient philosophy and makes it real. Colbert isn't just putting up with his past traumas, he's saying he's learned to love them. But why? Because he gets that the person he is today was forged in those exact fires. To wish away the pain would be to wish away a fundamental part of himself.
So here's the key idea. Hardship creates contrast. Think about it like this. After you've suffered through a terrible migraine, a simple, pain-free morning feels like an absolute miracle. The air feels cleaner, the light seems brighter. The low point wasn't some problem that needed to be fixed, it was the dark background that allowed all the beauty to pop. Without that contrast, life is just a flat, gray, boring line. Okay, so we've laid the foundation. We're accepting our reality through amor fati. But just accepting it, that's kind of passive. The next step is to actually navigate that reality. And this means moving from the foundation to the blueprint. Which brings us to our second principle, mastering the art of duality.
Real effectiveness lives right here, in this balance. You have to keep your head in the clouds, locked onto that huge vision, your North Star, your ultimate why. But at the exact same time, your feet have to be planted firmly on the ground, obsessed with the practical daily actions, the how, the very next step you need to take. See, vision without execution is just a hallucination, and execution without vision, that's just busy work.
And this is the Stockdale paradox. It's that duality in action. It demands that you hold two seemingly opposite beliefs at the same time. First, you have to have this absolute, unshakable faith that you're gonna win in the end. You have to be your own biggest cheerleader. But second, and this is just as crucial, you have to have the discipline to look at the most brutal, ugly facts of your current situation right in the eye. You have to be your own harshest critic. You earn the right to that faith by never, ever running from reality.
You can see how this all builds, right? We've gone from mindset to action. Once you've accepted your fate and you've got a blueprint for navigating it, the power starts to shift. It's not about reacting anymore. It's about creating. It's time to adopt the architect's mindset. This is one of the most liberating ideas you can possibly embrace. The world isn't out to get you, but it's not set up to help you either. It just is. And because it's indifferent, it becomes a tool. Think of it like a block of marble. It's not beautiful or ugly on its own. Its final shape is decided entirely by the hands of the sculptor who chooses to pick up a chisel and go to work. The power is all yours.
And if the world is just a tool, then failure isn't some external thing that happens to you. You don't catch failure like a cold. Failure is an internal decision. It's the choice to stop learning, to stop adjusting your plan, to stop trying to solve the problem. As long as you are still in the game, still adapting, you haven't failed. You're just building.
This is the declaration that changes everything. It's the conscious choice to look at your circumstances, the good, the bad, the ugly, and say, okay, from this raw material, I will build something. It's the ultimate act of ownership.
You are not a victim of your story, you are the architect of your future.
So, you've decided to build. Awesome. But how do you start? How do you turn that blueprint into an actual structure? Well, that brings us to the engine that drives all progress, all creation. A relentless, stubborn commitment to action over perfection.
You know, Patton's words are blunt for a reason. Momentum is a force of nature. Waiting around for the perfect conditions, the flawless plan, for everything to be just right, that's a trap. An imperfect step you take today creates feedback, it creates learning, it creates progress. It is infinitely more valuable than the perfect leap you keep telling yourself you'll make someday.
And this says it all, doesn't it? In one of the biggest upsets in World Cup history, Argentina dominated every single stat on paper. More possession, way more shots, more raw talent. But they lost. Why? Because Saudi Arabia took their 3 shots and put 2 of them in the back of the net. They executed. It's a brutal reminder that potential and effort don't mean a thing without results. It's not about how pretty you look moving the ball around. It's about whether you score.
So let's just call perfectionism what it really is. It's a very sophisticated scam we run on ourselves. It's an intellectual-sounding excuse to avoid the messy, uncertain reality of just getting started. When we say, oh, I'm not ready, or it just needs a little more work, what we're really masking is a simple fear of putting ourselves out there and maybe failing. The only antidote to that fear isn't more planning, it's action.
So you're accepting reality. You've got a blueprint, you're the architect, and you're taking action. The final piece of the puzzle is about scale. It's about not just building, but building something magnificent. And that requires the courage to be bold.
Frost just nails the entire concept in 4 perfect words. Real freedom, real growth, it's never found in the safety of the harbor. It's found on the other side of fear. In those moments where you are willing to risk what's comfortable for a shot at what could be extraordinary.
So what's with this number? Well, there's this fascinating study of wolves in Yellowstone. They discovered that the wolves infected with a parasite that made them act bolder, take more risks, were an incredible 46 times more likely to become leaders of the pack. The risk came with this huge, disproportionate reward. The principle is crystal clear. Boldness, while it's not without danger, is a massive accelerator for leadership and impact.
And that, right there, is the ultimate takeaway. That indifferent world we talked about, it's not going to just notice your quiet potential and hand you your dreams on a platter. Meaningful progress isn't delivered to your doorstep. It is initiated by you. You have to be the one to raise your hand, to take that calculated risk, to ask for more from the world, and more importantly, from yourself. You have to lead yourself first, because if you wait for someone else to give you permission, you'll be waiting forever.
So, we end right back where we started. You owe it to you. That perfect time, that clear sign from the universe, that flawless plan you've been waiting for, it's not real. It's never coming. All that exists is the indifferent world, the brutal facts of your reality, and this single, imperfect moment, right now. The only question left is the one you have to answer for yourself. What will you build with it?